Thank you, Clay.
Richard?
Okay, thank you. Hi. Psychic Frank here. It's um, Psychic Frank's Mystery School. It's the 20th, excuse me, the 20th of February, Friday. I'm usually taping these shows on a Saturday around this time. Excuse me. And but then they're going to do doing construction in here on Saturday, so they asked me to if I could come in on Friday, and that's why I'm here today. But today is the Saturn Neptune conjunction. Hasn't happened for 6,000 years, and it happened around a few minutes before 9 a.m. here on the West Coast. I'm in San Francisco, and by the way, thank you. Thank you for tuning in and supporting me. I want to, I believe, don't complain, don't explain. But, the last couple of months, I've been really going through anger. There's like the stages of grief, like when someone, dies, something you love dies, something, an institution, I, I just love looking at these things. I should have asked them, it's a little like you're putting a toy in front of an animal. I get distracted. Yeah, but anyway, where was I? Okay, so, yeah, so we have, uh, as I said, okay, there's all these things I want to get into right now, but what I was talking about is this amazing alignment of a conjunction of these two planets, and it just 3 days ago we had the uh, one second here. Let me get my notes all in order. Catch my breath from coming in from the city. Yeah, we've been having rain here in San Francisco, but okay, the seven stages of death. Some say there's three stages of death, and then there's I those are the two. But then if you go on the web, everybody's got their little 2 cents. They're basically the same thing. The first stage is denial. And you say, how can it be denial? People sometimes, someone's old, how can it be denial? That they're going to die. No, I think denial is a general word. I think shock is a better word because from experience, even though whether it's a pet or a dog, a cat, a bird, an iguana, your grandmother, they're eventually going to go. But when it happens, there's shock. There's just a shock, a physical shock. And then it goes into the anger stage. And then you get to the acceptance. So I was in anger. I got stuck in anger for a couple of months. It started in December when it was like I realized my civil rights were going. Well, late November, I had to say goodbye to a dear friend of mine, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, I love you, sweetheart. Yeah, we studied in the mystery school together, and we were as close as two friends could be. We both being psychics. I worked so hard on making her vegetarian, vegan, but I couldn't do it. And, it was her time. She was 3 years my senior. When I saw her at the hospital for the last time, I knew I knew pretty much she wanted to go. It was her time. When it's your time, it's right. And the healer's job is to make that passage right, make it as gentle as possible. So, and then she did a little psychic reading on me, and it actually came true. What she said to me in November has actually come to pass already. So, I wasn't expecting that. And then as I left, she called my name, and I turned, and she said, "Tell Gabby I love her." And that's my beloved parrot. And as I said, we would sit at my table, and I'd conjure up these delicious vegan meals for her and me, and Gabby would come over and dance in front of us. She had this pole. It's a thing, a fixture I had to, and Gabby would swing on the thing. Oh, she just anyway, enough about that. But anyway, saying I'm not going to say losing because she's still in touch with me on a different level, but saying goodbye to her on the earthly plane, it was building up. I wasn't admitting it, but I was angry. But what really pushed me off the cliff with anger was when I was at City Hall, and that what do they call themselves? Thugs, thugs, mean-spirited, bought and paid for thugs. The Entertainment Commission, London Breeze answered to replacement for the Noise Pollution Department, which was totally defunded. She took an axe to that. And then to throw salt on the wound, add insult to injuries, they seconded her, and they knew the facts. They knew that, for instance, this beer garden with no walls, loud, they own Hayes Valley, and they will not be controlled. They've been doing this for over 10 years. I mean, we're talking like blatant, rude, breaking any kind of octave thing, never got one summons, not one summons, So London Breed let these cats get away with all this. And so when I went to City Hall to try to, they cut my microphone off after 10 seconds because I mentioned London Breed's name. And then it didn't dawn in on me. Yeah, I was angry all the way home, but it still didn't click in. And then what happened was I never watched the halftime game, the halftime show. I watched previews of it and what do you mean after reruns of it, because yeah, I'm in '77. I'm in bed early, and but for some, my guides told me you got to watch this show. So I remember I didn't watch the football game, but I remember looking at the clock and I said, oh, the halftime show. So I turned on the TV just as the halftime show was starting, and oh my God, I had an epiphany. I had this total spiritual awakening, and then it just kept on getting better and better and better. I know Italian. I can understand it, and Spanish and Italian are pretty sister languages. So I pretty much can understand exactly what was going on. But then what made the tears come out of my face, come rounding down my face, were Ricky Martin, yeah, being a homosexual, and in my 70s, late 70s here. And I was running around Bleecker Street when the Stonewall got busted. Was the whole thing there, the Stonewall. uh yeah, I wasn't there that night. I was on Perry Street. I'd planned to go there, but my boyfriend at the time told me, convinced me to stay home and watch horror movies, and I was so in love. I was like 18. Yeah, I guess I was 18, yeah, 19 years old. So anyway, seeing Ricky Martin, I wasn't ready for that. I just, when I thought I couldn't get any more, yeah, and then boom, the tears started running. Then Lady Gaga, and like the whole thing just, I had a total epiphany. I had this total epiphany, and that's when everything sort of fell into place, and I realized, wow, I got stuck in anger. So it's over. It's over. The anger's over, and I'm not going to apologize to Mel or Lori, because what had to be said had to be said. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And Mel Lori, I have your chart right here. I don't think you can see it, but it's on the computer. I just can't read them on there. I have to do it by hand. So, my friend, February 4th, 1997. Now, I have two dear, dear friends. My beloved, I believe we're married, but we're not. I remind, I still refer to the time he got drafted as when he abandoned me. As soon as he got out of med school, his internship was over. They shipped him to Vietnam, leaving me alone in New York City. So I'm still not over that. No, I am. I'm totally over that. Anyway, we're back together. He lives in Massachusetts and I live here, but as soon as Gabby passes on, we'll be together, because then I'll be able to travel. After 30 something years, I've never been separated from that parent. That's enough about me. Okay, February 4th. So I'm just saying, two of three friends of mine that are born on February 4th. So as soon as I saw you were born on my boyfriend's, I still call him my boyfriend. He's 81 and I'm 77. I love it. Yeah, but yeah, the love of my life is born on your birthday. So right off the bat, I said, when I saw you campaign, I saw something in you that I didn't see in heartless London Breed, mean-spirited London Breed, chip on her shoulder, bug up her ass London Breed. I didn't see that in you. And I saw a brain that I didn't see in Scott Wiener. That fucking that okay, I'm gonna be cool here. But I totally I that's why you disappointed me. But then I always say never disappoint a child or an alcoholic. I'm neither. So I was just taken aback. As I said, I lost my. I'm say lost. I didn't lose her. My best friend was Elizabeth was taken from me, and then this nightmare of the beer garden across the street from my just totally disrespects anybody in that neighborhood. But I'm not going to get into that now. And the whole harm reduction, alternative healings. You know, we're going to get back to that. That's a big deal. And I thought, wow, this is a guy who doesn't need the money. He's not bought and sold, not paid for by the alcohol industry, which definitely Scott Wiener is. He's such a whore, you know. Nothing, let it go, Frank. Yeah, well, what happened was repeated again. I saw him on TV today. I saw him on TV today. I saw a picture of Gavin Newsom, and to his right, sitting at the right hand of Gavin Newsom, was Scott Wiener, standing there, proud as a fresh turd of poop, and mouthing off on what he's going to do for the blacks, for the brown community. I don't like that term recurring, so general, blacks. I went to high school. I entered high school when civil rights movement was just starting. Segregation was the first time segregated high school ever happened in Glen Cove, and it was a public school, of course. And so I've been in. That's my freshman year was when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. So and there were riots all over Glen Cove, Long Island, and civil rights have always been important to me. I got over. Yeah. So I uh, I actually so what happened was seeing Scott Wiener. The whole cannabis thing was out of control. After Nixon, after years of waiting for the results, he got a thick results, and it was so pro cannabis, and he just threw it in the garbage, and the rest is history. Then we got Nancy Reagan, and the rest is history. And so we campaigned on passing 215. We had doctors, people who had gotten out of the abyss and testified cannabis had helped them. No recovery programs will tell you substitute cannabis for alcohol, substitute cannabis for whatever substance you're addicted to. But anyway, so Scott Wiener, we're in the mission across the street from Dolores Park. Uh, there's this big, beautiful deco building called the high school. It's the high school in the mission. My nose is itching. I'm going to have a fight. I don't want to have a fight. I just want to get this message out. And what happened was we showed up, protesting with our little, there must have been like 100 something of us. This wonderful Mexican, I think he was wanting to be the mayor, or he was the mayor. He's a long Spanish name, and it begins with V, Bella, something, it's like got a few syllables, and his name is, anyway, he was there. A few lefties in politics were there, and of course we were there promoting cannabis legalization, decriminalization, cannabis availability, and all that. And then all of a sudden, I realized, wow, 6 or 7 buses showed up, school buses, and all these Asian people were there. Like I've never seen that many people in the mission in Dolores Park. They weren't in Dolores Park, but in that section of the mission. So I said to some friends of mine, I think I was with people from Access of Love, and I know I was, and I said, well, what's up with where did all these Asian people come from? They go, oh, Laura, what's his name? Scott Wiener. Scott Wiener. This is So as I said, you know, I'm seeing your chart, and I'm seeing what's going on with you, and what's happening today with the Saturn, the Saturn. Neptune, Saturn, and Neptune. I love it. They're conjunct. I love it. 0 degrees Aries, 44 minutes. God, I'm feeling so cool. Yeah, well, this is like, yeah, it's instant gratification as far as we're seeing, the Epstein files now, but it's going to be 3 to 6 months from now. It's not, but with Uranus now in April, the end of April, I believe, she is going to go out of Taurus and enter Gemini. So, and that's like, boom, a lot of unexpected, wonderful surprises there. So for you, Mr. Mayor Lori, this is all happening on your Venus, 2 degrees Aries, midheaven, Aries 13, um, South Node, Aries, um, Chiron 27 degrees Aries, 10th house. There's past life stuff going on there, man. Your happiness planet isn't happy now, man. Because, man, what's with all these man things? I don't know. Uh, well, your Mars your Mars is conjunct Neptune, Mercury, the information planet, and Mars is how you exert your energy in Capricorn. So you're a late bloomer, and you had a hard ass childhood, having your mother slap you in a loveless boarding school. That's a psychic wound. The thing about psychic wounds is you never get them healed. They're there your whole life to remind you of God. Simple as that. But what's really going on, and it started for you, um, Mr. Laurie. See, 2026 is a one personal year. Your day and month vibrates to six. See, six is like smooth operator. You enter a situation, everything sort of calms down. You um, you could sell Eskimos to ice cubes. You could sell Eskimos ice cubes. Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah, you're just you got this charm. You got this, this instinct that, and now this year we had one because 2026 reduced to one digit is one. We had that to your day and month, which is six. February 4 is six. We get seven personal year. This is your wisdom year. And now what happened? The end of July 2024, Uranus it still is 27 degrees Cancer, a Taurus now. This is the last time in like a long, long time, at least a lifetime, before Uranus get back into Taurus. So this is a big shift that doesn't happen every day. We had a little taste of Uranus. It's your ruling planet, Mayor Daniel there, and with Uranus conjuncting sextiling is a beautiful thing. Squares are difficult. They're windows of opportunities, but people don't love them. Sextiles and trines. Everybody wants a life full of sextiles and trines. Of course, they suffer from arrested development, but they don't think of that. Um, so oh, you're a three life path. So yeah, you're a communicator. You're just communicating the wrong stuff. And so you may suddenly discover that your friends of many years seem limited and narrow and no longer interesting. Instead, you may become involved with some group that is considered by the rest of society, particularly your old friends, to be offbeat or eccentric, or both like me, and not completely, or if not completely crazy. If you have not been asserting your own individuality in relationships, you will do so now. And it is that important to you to also, because if you try to suppress these energies, they will hurt you in down the road. See, so when I saw this morning actually a picture of Gavin Newsom standing and right to his on the right hand of Jesus there, Gavin Newsom, whatever he thinks he is. I remember him when he'd walk out of the room the minute he saw that it was the cannabis people's time to get up there. So I'm talking about at City Hall. So he got some brains when the Mango Mussolini threatened to put him in prison. Then we saw something in him that we never saw before. Where was this guy? Where was this guy all those years he was mayor and trying to homogenize the city? So anyway, I'm sitting in my little studio apartment watching, and there I'm looking up from my Cheerios whenever I was eating, and I see Newsom standing right next to, and I thought of you, Mayor Lori. I said instead of being the lead dog on the dog sled, unless you're the lead dog, you're gonna see assholes, you know, like Newsom, uh, Wiener. You're gonna see assholes like that the rest of your life, man. You got to stop that. Get ready now because what's going to happen in a few years, I don't have my ephemeris with me. Oh, it's going to be a good 5 years. You'll have Uranus on your sun. And as I said, I hope you wake up long before that because right now, as I said, your Venus is not happy. And yes, Neptune, Saturn will only be on your Venus for a few months. By the end of the summer, Saturn will be through with your Venus. It'll be 30 years before that happens again. But Neptune moves a lot slower. She'll be going retrograde. So Neptune, planet of higher consciousness, will get into your dreams. It'll haunt your dreams until you effing wake up, brother. So I'm giving you a heads up now. I know it would be inconvenient to come to my apartment. I actually, would better I pack up my little suitcase with my little medicine bag there and come into your office. You're just a few blocks away from me, and let's have a private session. I feel comfortable there with you because you've got something in you that Mayor London Breed and Ed Lee and Gavin don't have, and that's a heart. You got a heart, man. I saw that. I'm not kissing your ass. I'm just telling you I'm a psychic. I told you the worst. I'm telling you. But what happened? What happened, man? What happened when your campaign prize? Javon, the heavyset black husky. I call him a young man. He's in his late 30s, mid 30s. Anyway, he was sitting here interviewing you in this very office, this very studio, without phones, which would really give people a thrill. My for years I would call people would call and I'd give me the birthday and I'd blow their minds and they'd scream and that was a mystical thrill that they're missing now. Cannabis is a psychedelic and it will help people get over all these things. Oh, God have mercy. But as I said, you're just on the you I don't know what these guys are doing. There's no way Gavin Newsom is going to be the next president. That's for goddamn sure. And now Weeder, that cockroach, is wanting Nancy Pelosi's job. I shook Nancy Pelosi's hand. We talked for a few minutes at the Castro Theater upstairs there at one of the a fundraiser. I like her. I love Nancy. I don't just love her. I adore her, what she's done for the gay community. And then, as I said, to have the likes of Wiener, Scott effing Wiener. And I looked up on the computer just as I looked up London Breed and I found out, she left the city in $1 billion worth of debt, probably more by now. It's all been figured out. And nothing about Scott Wiener, nothing about his anti-can. It's actually something about made it so people who smoke cannabis can't be ripped off online or something. Too little, too late, mother. Uh, you know, all this Pluto energy that's going on, just around the time Uranus is on your sun, Pluto's going to be in opposition to your Saturn. Yeah, because you were born with Sun and Aquarius opposition into Saturn and Leo. Well, I could do a whole reading on that. Yeah, totally uh, fixed signs. So there's sort of like permanent stuff going on there. As I said, psychic heals don't heal, but it's sort of like a heartache about losing a parent, probably your father. I didn't mean to call your mother a cunt, but let's face it. The I wanted to get your attention, And let's face it, the billionaire, millionaire classes are men and women. That's not a sexist term. I know many men are cunts. I'm not going to say that anymore. But we gotta call it what it is. You gotta call a spade a spade. I don't know what the bitch did to you, man, but she cost. Okay, if I want to see you, I can't go on calling your mother kind of a bitch. But okay, Frank, get over it. Get over it. But you know what it's like for me. I'm 77. How many more sands are going to go through the hourglass? Before I die, I'm going to see cannabis get its rightful step. I'm going to see all the people that could be millions of people. We can make San Francisco the mecca for the alcohol industry will be, it's going down anyway. The wine industry, the cannabis, let's replace it with the cannabis. George F. in Washington said plant cannabis everywhere. George, Benjamin Franklin, all these cats, use cannabis. The idea that people would be so stupid as to outlaw it, and so hung up on power like that son of a bitch Nixon, may he rot in hell wherever the hell he is. And then, as I said, yeah, you disappointed the F out of me. So I'm going to do the best I can, but man, you got to wake me halfway by getting these phones hooked up. This is, every time, my disdain for you is different from hate. Hate's a violence. My disdain for you is like when I saw you today on TV, standing right next to, no, not you, but your two best friends, Gavin and the Wiener, whatever his name is, Scott Tissue, butt wipe Wiener there. Uh, and I saw it, yeah, instead of being the rest of your life, you're going to see assholes like them as long as you remain not ahead of that dog sled and start making, be a leader. Be a leader. Right now, you're just giving power to okay, get off of the street drugs and get on pharmaceuticals. That ain't going to fly. People need cannabis. I keep on getting distracted by my hair. This little flip going on. Let me explain that. It's been raining real heavy and I got caught in a real downpour and I didn't have my umbrella. But I said, well, you know what? I'm going to get a rainwater conditioning, not thinking that all the pollutants in the air were getting on my hair, but I just said, yeah, I'm gonna get a rainwater conditioning. So I just went ahead and, sung "Give Me a Head with Hair." I was doing show tune dances all over the streets, singing in the rain. I was having a great time the other day. I love the rain. But this is what it does to my hair. It makes it curly. It gives it a little flip. So I didn't put a roller in my hand or anything. You never have to cut hair. It stops by itself. Shoulder hair, shoulder length no longer. Give me a head with hair. So, brother, this is what's going on now. Yeah, you spit in my face by taking the phones out, and then you want me to dance around wounds. No, you're not taking away my civil rights without a fight. You got it? Capiche? My civil rights mean a lot to me. I'm an old hippie. My friends all would die. The ones that got out of Vietnam alive came back quasi. But all the people that fought to get them back never got a thank you. And most of them now are with me in spirit. Know who's with me in spirit? I met him several times on the astral plane. He comes to visit me. Is John Lewis, and he's the one that wants me to make all this necessary trouble. Oh yeah, I want my ephemeris here because I want to tell you before I put your chart away. So yeah, I've got your chart. Okay, the numerology for this year is wisdom, and it just started. So before Google up, have one of your flunkies Google up numerology 7 personal year, and it'll validate everything I just said to you now. You've got to cut the tie with Wiener and this moron governor we have. I'm going to vote for any. I voted for Shirley Chisholm. And I'm proud of that. Okay, yeah. So this is what's going on now. Oh, another thing that's going on is, yeah, you got to be a pioneer. You got to be a pioneer, my friend. I'm going to start referring to you as my friend because I know we're going to be friends before the whole thing is over. Yeah, your Venus is so unhappy, and I think there's a past life. It's pretty much the same scenario you had in this life with an overpowering mother. That's a nicer word than cunt. So I'm going to start referring to her as an overpowering female. Um, uh, and uh, and 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 we're going to totally, you know, yeah, this past life of is it's like history doesn't rhyme, it doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. It's this total rhyming there of making the break and starting a whole new paradigm going now, and really start undoing the damage Richard Nixon did, and start helping the youth by really telling them that alcohol, there's no such fear as it's poison. It's literally, it'll rot your brain and make you crazy. It'll ruin your liver and all your vital organs. And the glories of cannabis. I've been smoking it since I was 13. uh, and look, I'm fine. I'm super fine. You should look so good at 77. Okay, so okay, so we're gonna do some cards. Now we got plenty of time now. Okay, so Uranus first entered Gemini in 2025 for a little while until July 7th, and then November 7th. It went back into Taurus, and now it's direct headed for 27 degrees, doing that exact trine sextile to your 27-degree Cancer. Cancer rising sign, the moon. Cancer's a threefold. You're getting a reading today, brother. No charge. Just do right. Get the phones hooked up. Um, yeah, the moon. Is wants to fit in. It's an actor. It knows how to play a role. And you can play better roles than this. Let me tell you, it's a nurturer. It's a pulled by suffering. It's a parent, and you're not a good parent now. If you were a good parent, you'd point out you'd be against alcohol. You'd be saying, yeah, restaurants, the best restaurants, they'll tell you right to your face, the money's in alcohol. So if you start promoting cannabis, and people who are in the right, you don't have to pay to play. We could teach seniors how to grow it. The pharmaceutical company doesn't want you to know that. Oh, and if any of you doctors are watching, goddamn well that how do you eat? You took an oath. When I hear these direct to consumer pharmaceutical ads, and the side effects are death, sure, no replaceable damage, permanent damage. That's the word I was looking for, to your hearing. It goes on and on and on. And the people are dancing, oh, it's all right. There's a pill for that. There's a pill for that. Man, grow a pair of gullions, man. Grow a pair of balls, man. Get away from these assholes like Gavin Newsom and Scott Wiener, and start being a man. Walk like a man. Yeah, don't, be a man. That's all I can say. Make your Venus, do something pioneering. What are you going to do? Be on food stamps? They'll hate you. Big deal. What are they going to do? Knock you off? Is that why you got bodyguards around? Yeah, I don't want you in my neighborhood. Otherwise, I'd say come to my apartment. But you'll bring your pistol packing, trigger happy bodyguards. Those nasty motherfuckers. You know what they did? I heard ambassadors were going to be in Hayes Valley. So I walked up to one of these guys last month because I thought he was wearing a suit and he seemed pretty authoritative. And I said, well, maybe this is. So I went up to him and I said, are you the ambassadors that I've been hearing about that are listening? And he went, sharply told me to get lost, and then mentioned I could see the gun in his arms, and I went, hey, what kind of an ambassador is this? And then someone told me, oh, you met one of the mayor's bodyguards. You're the menace. You're the menace that bringing violence to these. God, if you could just wake up. I hope you just wake up, brother. I could do a healing on you. I'm doing as much as I can through osmosis here. But it'd be great to sit with you, put my hands around you, get your chakras lined up, and you know, and stuck around. And so Uranus is going to enter Gemini and stay there until May of 2033. Yeah, and we get one dip into Cancer in 2033, a few months before, but then in 2033, it'll be over that, and into Leo. But 2033, I'll be what, 90 something, at least in my late 80s. Anyway, um, um, While it's back in Taurus now, grounded nature provides a solid base for Uranus's innovative eccentric energy. The infinite ground of being is always there for us. Oh, I know what I wanted to read for you, man. Well, I put this up here so I wouldn't forget it. I wouldn't forget to read it. Yeah, I wrote this. They're not taking my civil rights away without a fight. Uh, Oh yeah, and then I wrote that. I heard someone say that Fallon, Jimmy Fallon. Oh no, Colbert said, if another country did this to us, we'd see it as an act of war. Okay, okay, okay. Um, one second here. Bear with me. Bear with me. Um, okay, one magic moment here. Oh my God. Okay, well, let's say if you if you do not, one second, one magic moment here. Oh, okay. I'm sorry about this. Here it is. Ta-da! If you bring forth that which you have within you, it will save you, period. If you do not, it will destroy you. Daniel Laurie, Mayor Daniel Laurie. If you don't shape up, honey, you're destroying yourself. You got to get rid of these assholes you're surrounding with yourself. Gavin and the queen of the assholes there. Oh, what's it? Yeah, he'll get another job. Wiener, Scott Wiener. You know, he could get a matching cap and sweater and do parties as Where's Waldo. He could make a living out of that. Move to LA. Yeah, he'd be a star, you know. Okay, hurt is the teacher, wisdom's the lesson. So you hurt me, I'm not trying to hurt you back, but you taught me a big lesson. You told me my civil rights are gone. You know, I remember battling it out with that entertainment commission. God, those people need to lose their job. You know, they're lazy. They don't want to do the research. You know, one of your sergeant, one of London Breed's own sergeants, was, you know, I know he's moved to another precinct since then. He was at the Fillmore station, and he helped me, you know, because he knew that he investigated the call, the non-emergency call, and he said to me, "It's an endless. It's you can't even how many times, how many complaints they have, not from you, but from everybody in that neighborhood, that that beer garden is out of control." And he said, "But it's up in the hands of the entertainment commission and this and this." And then a couple of months later, we had a talk, and he said, "Hey, don't bother me anymore." He said, it's London Breed's, you know, pretty much told me it was her show. They wanted noise. She hated people that were going to communicate with each other. Oh yeah, there's something here I wanted to share with you guys. Uh, uh, it's right here, I believe. Oh no, it's on this one. Yeah, I had the facts really handy. I wanted to read you about Ronald Reagan and and how from and how he destroyed the middle class, but that'll have to come out. Okay, let's see what we got here. I know it's in one of these books right in front. That's why I took them for you. Okay, from 1935 to 1980, workers got, okay, if you got four jobs and you're still, on food stamps, workers got 70% of all the income growth in America. That's a fact, Jack. From 1935 until 1980. But then what happened is from 1980, Ronald Reagan, to 2012 rather, workers got none of the income growth. All income gains went to the top 10%. Ronald Reagan's 35-year experiment failed and was the biggest fraud ever. So is it any uh, stretch of the imagination that we have this grifter thief, this fraud, this three card Monty, uh, rapist, morally deprived, depraved, perverted, sicko. Um, Oh yeah, and so that's enough for today. Oh yeah, and then the schools, what they're teaching now. Your kids are all learning. In 10 years, your kids are going to resent you for making them study garbage because they know in their heart, right here, Mind Beyond Brain. Here's a book by Larry Dossey, One Mind, most brilliant mind in America, as far as I'm concerned. The brain does not generate thought any more than a wire generates electrical current. The brain breathes, mind like the lungs breathe air. So when the body dies, the mind goes on. There's no way nobody doesn't survive their death. Like if you were to drop dead right now, Mayor Lori, God forbid, before you learn your lessons, nothing changes. You just give up the body. You just go right back to another life with an overpowering rich mother who'll do anything for a buck. Uh, who knows? Who knows? But and then there was something else. Okay, let's get to the cards. Nelson Mandela said, "There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered." Yeah, the wound that is the place where the light enters you. Okay, you could do so much. I bring back the psychic fairs. There's so many brilliant psychics now. I'm sure they're in the city who feel so. Oh yeah, this is what Pam Gregory said about today's this amazing conjunction. The other hand break. Here we are. The Neptune, Saturn, Neptune, Saturn, Neptune. She quotes the Siberian symbol, Sabian symbol. It was done by a gifted clairvoyant psychic in 1925, and that's as of the last full solar eclipse we had. We have a lunar eclipse happening on March 3rd. We'll talk about that next time I'm here. 29 Aquarius, and the Sabian symbol for that is a butterfly emerging from a chrysalis, the capacity to ultimately, utterly rather, transform the character of one's consciousness. Yeah, the capacity to utterly transform the character of one's consciousness. What is emphasized is the process of what is emphasized is this process of metamorphosis, which is going on now. Spiritual terms, this implies intuition, a lot of more revolutionary, radical. Yeah, the revolution's here. And Mayor Lori, I want you to be now. I want you to cut the cord with these sons of guns. They saw you as a dollar sign. They didn't see you. They didn't see your true self. I'm seeing your true self, and you deserve better. I want to help bring the good out in you. I want your kids to get old, healthy, with healthy habits, who know how to use cannabis. No, it's not a gateway drug. No, alcohol is pause. They're gonna say my father made gave me liver cancer. You got how much so much power you have. I'll tell you right now, that Wiener friend of yours, he knows how much power you have, and he wants it. He wants it. I can't believe that. Oh, he wants to take Nancy Pelosi's. He wants to take the saint. I put her in such a pedestal. I know she's no saint, but I love her. I love Nancy Pelosi. And to have her seat, by of all people, the scum of the earth, Scott Wiener, man. Uh, and he's up your ass like a suppository. You gotta shit him out, man, and cover him up with a kitty litter or something and move on. Walk like a man, my friend. Okay, I got that all out of my system. Let me shuffle the cards and see what I got for you all. Okay. Yeah, I got some time left here. Yeah, even President Obama, gave back when $90,000 was a lot of money because he believed that democracy was it's so contingent on cable access TV. So Mayor Lori, bullshit, bullshit talks, money walks, you know. Get some money coming in here to get the back to hire back the people they were forced to lay off. And you just sat there and let it happen. You just sat there with your skinny little ass, you know, who know what the hell you're doing with your rich and famous friends there, or leeches that are all over your body like Humphrey Bogart coming out of the water and covered in leeches. That's what you are right now. You, Mayor Laurie, are the most pathetic soul, and I want to help you. Help me help you. You're surrounded with people. You can't wake up people who are pretending to be asleep. That's what makes a Wiener. He knows. He knows what he's doing is killing people, and or he should be put in an asylum. Either way, he's a danger to society. No way, as long as I got a breath of life in me, is he going to get anywhere near Nancy Pelosi's seat. So, with that said, work with me, people. Work with me. Fossey, Fossey, Fossey. Yeah, I'm eccentric, and I love it that way. I'm me, unapologetically deal with it. That's what the Entertainment Commission said to me one day when we were having an argument. And they told me that London Breed's orders were, this is just before you took office, Mr. Mayor, that they were being as generous as they could possibly be with the permits now, and that I better get used to it. This is what I say to the Entertainment Commission. Spin on it, you sons of bitches. Your days are numbered. You're going to be on unemployment. I have anything to say about it. If you think I'm pulling this stuff out of thin air, call the Entertainment Commission and start up a conversation with them that has anything to do with civil rights. Like, ask him why did you people cut off Psychic Frank's microphone? Why wouldn't you let him talk about London Breed leaving the city in $1 billion worth of debt? How come you are sold out to the entertainment to the liquor industry, and you don't? Why is it you're making things so loud you can't even sit in the park and have a talk with a friend without this blaring noise coming from these Nazi Germans? You know, in Hayes Valley. You know, these are things that you didn't want the phone hooked up. You know, Javon, who interviewed you, said to me, I wanted to ask him some questions about the FBI and about the 12 donors with the $100,000 there. I said, why didn't you? And he just shrugged his shoulders, you know. And this, so he was good to you. He gave you the benefit of the doubt. Didn't ask you any heavy questions. He did that out of respect. He did that. He wasn't doing this to save his ass, because I know Javon. I know his soul. He wouldn't have done that to us. You know, he was being respectful to you, and this is how you repay him. The man's got another month there. He's on unemployment. Think about that. The next day you're shaving, you look in the mirror. How do you even look in the goddamn mirror, Mayor Laura? You need me, SOS. You know, so you got my number. It's right here. Send me an email, psychicfrank11 at gmail.com. I'll come to you. You'll come to me. And believe me, it'll work. It'll work. Let me cut the cards now and see what we got going on, because I got another 10 minutes here. Ah, well, this was fun. Well, isn't it happy now? This is what I'm like when I'm not really angry. But yeah, I'm a human being. You know, Carl Jung said about Jesus. We're talking about not the Nazi Jesus, the Jesus, the mystic Jesus, the Savior, the average, whatever. To Carl Jung, he was the archetype of a human being. You know, he was meeting, he got horny, he farted, he screwed around, he masturbated, probably fooled around with men and women. I believe he was he did all the things that a human being does that we were taught is shameful. Masturbation, oh, that one woman got thrown out of Washington, D.C. That we had a health general who suggested that kids masturbate. It would keep the population lower, unwanted pregnancies, no abortions, and all that. They threw her little. See, that's what I was saying. These colored. I don't like the word colored. As I said, I remember what I was going to say before. Their people are brown. Their people are light brown, dark brown. I went to school. I remember I saw a woman on TV today on Democracy Now. There were three people of color. She was black. I mean, this is what I love, these people from Africa, the black Africans who are like black. I mean, blue black. And they use just enough moisturizer to make it shine. And it's like, if I was going to come back as a black person, I think black is beautiful. I would love like um, Grace Jones black, you know, that kind of like but just the general term, people of color, it's kind of generic. Okay, let me pick some cards for you. So I don't like the term black people. Yeah, people, black is beautiful, but brown is beautiful, tan is beautiful, yellow, orange. My friend Elizabeth was a true redskin. She had bright red skin, full-blooded Apache. One, two, three, four, five, six. Yeah, I love her so much, and I know I'll see her again. And as I said, people don't die. To work on your character defects while you have a precious body and a planet, which you could eat and drink fresh, clean. This planet is totally conducive. Out of all the planets in the universe, there's very few that are this conducive to human life, and human life is everything. That's why there's so many souls who want to get here. Okay, Ace of Cups. It's all about love now. Do everything you want to. That's what I'm saying. It's all about your heart now. Everybody's heart, because Leo's an Aquarius opposite the heart, Leo. So for all of us now, no matter what sign you are, listen to your heart. It's going to direct you, tell you where to go. Your mind will tell you. The mind's the caboose. It's the last to get it. It will tell you, don't do that. What are you, crazy? Let somebody else do it. That's what I said to my friend at Rainbow. He said, "How's your show going, Frank?" I said, "Oh man, I don't know why they chose me to do it. I was waiting for somebody else to do all this." He said, "No, Frank, you do what we were waiting for." So I needed to be reminded of that. I thought my Venus in Libra is conjunct Neptune. I'm lazy. I admit I have to fight laziness all the time. My parrot's there to keep me on my toes, but I thought somebody else. It's so obvious we were raped. We were screwed and tattooed, raped, screwed and tattooed with sucker written all over us. And now London Breed's got eyes on Washington, D.C. Oh, God, no, no. We got to stop these sons of bitches, man. And yeah, we're emotionally now, we're growing up. We're growing up. We're growing up. Someone mentioned I should go on TikTok, and I don't even know if I want to do that, because then one of my backers said that he would pay if I needed to hire someone to get edit my shows for YouTube, but I for TikTok. So I'm still pondering that. If somebody wants to email me with their choice on that, or maybe explain to me. Maybe we could work out a phone call where you could explain to me exactly what TikTok is. I vaguely know, but I'd like to know. Okay. Uh, and let's see what else we have here. Wow, seeing these two cards, the King and Queen of Cups together, it's all of, look at this. Cups, cups, cups. Got the base is so this is what we have. We got so much left to give now, and we're crippled. Healers can't do healers. Whatever you got it. When people can't go to the seas, they mend their nets. We mend our nets. We're kids now. We're not kids anymore. We're adults of God. We've evolved. And now we've got to be receptive. God's giving, giving, giving. We've been turning our cup upside down. What we're fearing now is that God's going to stop loving us. What's going on for us is we got to make a decision now. We got to calm the waters and take responsibility. It goes back to Ford pardoning Nixon, Obama pretty much uh, pardoning W and Cheney, and persecuting, all that, waterboarding and all that. But that was all fate. I believe they had no choice. The angels made them do that, and they had to. I'm just laughing because I'm just thinking, well, thank you. So it's time now. Nobody's forced. We have to take down our mental defenses and tell our mind to take a break, and stop crossing our heart. Let's open our heart. Let it breathe. Let your heart breathe, man. You know, and what's going on for us is okay, we're growing up now. See, the universe knows that. Divine intelligence, that's correct. There is divine intelligence. I'm not extraterrestrials exist. Three Eye Atlas was just the first. The cavalry is coming. As I said, over the next 6 months, we're going to get more and more light hitting the planet. More and more people are waking up. We're really at a time now where more people are awoken on this planet. Which Donald Trump, if we, I say this, I'm not being sarcastic. If the man didn't exist, we'd have to invent him. He is precisely what we need to this mass waking up now. Everybody's waking up. Join us, Mayor Lori. Yeah, get away from those assholes, Newsom and Weeder and all those other fat cats, trying to get in your bag. Here's the tower card. With or without you, it's happening. I'm saying, work with me now. This is a courtesy call, as my friend Elizabeth would say to me all the time. Frank, this is a courtesy call. If we had an appointment and she was coming over for lunch or dinner, or we're going to meet somewhere for something, and she'd say, Frank, this is a courtesy call. So yeah, I was angry. I was going through something. Death will make you angry. It's sort of a form of shock. At first, I wasn't accepting it. That's the shock. Then the anger lasted a couple of months, but now I'm changing what I can't accept. Where they teach you the serenity prayer. God, give me this, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the difference to know the difference. Well, I know the difference between shit and Shinola. Ed Wiener shit. You could be Shinola. Make that your slogan. Make that your companion. Make that your next slogan, campaign slogan. Gavin Newsom and Scott Wiener are shit. I could be your Shinola. Work with it. Work. It's got a rough edge there. My last show, I was thinking of, I said the word MF a lot, but there's a great movie. I'll end the show on a light note. I think this is a funny, funny movie. It's called Where's Papa? Ruth Gordon. It's from 1967. It came out the year I graduated high school, so 67 and 68, right around there. And it's Ruth Gordon, George Siegel. Takes place on Central Park, New York, and the Upper West Side of New York, Upper East Side, where Upper West Side rather, nothing but brownstones and rich people. Even back then in '68 when this movie came out, and it's all about never put your mother in a home. So George Siegel lives with his mother in his beautiful brownstone in a brownstone on Central Park West, and Cindy lives in Puerto Rican Harlem on the other side. It's back then there was no Upper East Side; it was Puerto Rican Harlem, and and he would run every time the mother would pull a trick on Spook in one of his dates. The He'd call Sydney and he'd say, Sydney, get over here and take her out. I'm gonna put her in the home if you're not here in 10 minutes. So Sydney drops everything and runs through Central Park, knowing he's gonna get mugged. And this gang happened to be people of color. These at the time, Central Park black people, people of color were gangsters. They weren't murderers. They were just robbing you. So anyway, the thing I'm getting at it involves the word MF. So if your kids are here, tell them to leave the room. Okay, so Sydney is, and all of a sudden this gang of thuggers, like 8 of them. So they go, hey, Cindy, toss your wallet. That's what, Madeline LaRue, rest her soul, was in this play I was stage manager for. And we were somewhere having, at her apartment or somewhere. And we were late, and she looked, oh, we got to be in the theater in a half hour. So we stashed over to Lafayette Theater Square to the Lafayette Theater. And just as we were turning that big square, and these muggers came up, and she threw her purse to them. She says, we're late. So anyway, so they said, hey, Sydney, throw us your wallet. He said, I don't have it. So they grab him. Like, what do you mean? You can't go past across this park without your wallet, Sydney. And then this one guy's a heavy set black guy, and he's going, motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker. And they go, and the guys are holding back. He goes, you want me to put motherfucker on your ass? And he goes, motherfucker. Then he goes, no, no, no. He says, well, Sydney, don't come by here anymore without your wallet. So I don't know. I thought that to me is really funny. So that's just me. But watch the movie. It's Where's Papa? Ruth Gordon, George Siegel. You'll love it. You'll love it. I'll be back here in 2 weeks. Scott, I mean, Mia Lori, tough love. I know we're going to talk to. I know we're going to meet. I know we're going to meet. Oh yeah, I want. We only got another minute, but I wanted to tell you about, about uh, Harvey Milk and how he was so. He said cannabis was a civil rights and a human rights issue. Okay, I gotta go. I love you. I love you all, no matter what shape you're in. I love you. And thanks for the support.